Welcome back, fight fans. Very special interview today with the CEO of Australian Fighting Championship, Adam Milinkovic. Adam, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Very welcome, mate. Look, we'll get started with a quick wrap-up of AFC 5. Public interest, public perspective was it was a very successful event. Great fighters, great results, good knockouts, few submissions, what we like to see. How did you feel AFC 5 went?
AFC 5 was a good, really good event for us. We sort of structured what we were doing a little bit differently in regards to we brought out two tournaments, which we started, a middleweight and a welterweight tournament, which really sort of were effective for us in the fact that brought a lot of fans, and it's actually dragged a lot of fans onto through to AFC 6. But the actual fight card, the fights themselves were really good. There's a few knockouts, a few submissions, but there was a lot of local guys on, which was good. And the fans walked away happy, and I think we had a I was happy with the event.
Great. You mentioned that you had a few international fighters on the last card, and we have a few international fighters again on this card. With the growth of the AFC, are you finding it easier to get some of these big name international fighters out to Australia to fight in Australia's #1 MMA promotion?
No, we've had a lot of internationals from day one, from the first show that we put on. I think the sport's just getting so big, and there's just so many guys coming in and out of the UFC at the moment, and there's a lot of big names, and I think it's they're floating around the States at the moment, and they're trying to, a lot of them actually trying to get out to Australia, and I think we're looked at as a premier mixed martial arts, or we are the premier mixed martial arts promotion in Australia at the moment, and I think we've had a lot of exposure over in the States, and a lot of the Americans want to fight on the AFC.
You mentioned initially, on top of the great international fighters that you're getting, we're getting a really good breadth of young fighters in Australia. What's your perspective on the depth of Australian MMA at the moment?
Australian MMA is good. It's sort of exploded, and I think from 5 years back, you see a lot of the older guys now that were sort of they're sort of coming to the end of their careers, or trying to still hang into their careers. But there's just so many new up and comers that no one's seen, that was sort of 15 years old, 5 years ago, and now they've just they've 1 or 2 amateur fights, and they've just they're having their first pro fights, but they're just explosive kids, and just to watch them. Just to change the way they fight now. It's just the talent and the skills is just to a different level.
Okay, so with the evolution of MMA in Australia, there's a lot of talk about legalisation of cage fighting, or using of the cage. We interviewed the Shadow Minister for Sport and Recreation, Mr. John Aaron, a few weeks back, and had a great chat to him. Very passionate MMA fan, very big AFC fan, which is fantastic. He is a strong advocate for the legalisation of cage fighting. Interested to understand what your position is on this ongoing debate.
Yeah, look, he's as I said, he's a good man, because he's pushing for the legalisation of it. For us in general, it's more the safety, for the safety of the fighters. That's my concern. For the fact that I sort of live and breathe the sport, and I work with these fighters on a day-to-day basis. I get to I make good friends out of these fighters, and the thing is, watching these guys, we try and put on the best show that we can, but then try and put the right safety barriers in place, and I sort of go overboard to make sure that these guys have the right safety barriers so they don't get hurt. And it's hard for me to sit there and watch as a promoter if someone does get hurt, because I get close to these guys, and if it does happen, it's not the fact of us in a promotion to make the money, and that we're passionate about the sport, and I'd hate to see something happen. But in saying that, we've got to just worry about making sure the right safety barriers are provided, and just keep the promotion going, and do the right thing and eventually it will come.
I think we all agree that eventually we'll go. Right, so August 24, Melbourne Pavilion, AFC 6, massive card, welterweight, middleweight finals, Rob Lacida versus Rodolfo Marquez, and of course the lightweight title fight between Daniel Hooker and Banjo Patterson. Social media going crazy right now talking about the card. What are you expecting? Are we going to see an action-packed card?
Yeah, it's going to be action-packed. I'm very excited about this card. Probably the most excited I've been with all the cards that we put on. I think just the calibre of fights that we've got, and the way that the fights are matched, the skill levels are so much the same.
Yeah, very.
And it's hard to pick who's going to win in any one of the fights.
Yeah, well, it's a good question. Now, fans on the Fighters Hub Facebook have been having a bit of a conversation about trying to pick winners in the two semi-final fights, Any idea, any advice to them on who you think might hold the advantage in any area, or we just even across the board?
Well, I'd flip the coin. That's the whole thing, mate. I'll flip the coin on every fight because, look, as I said, I know all these guys, and they're all good blokes, and I think at the end of the day, it's the win or lose, they're all going to be, every fight's going to be a good fight.
Yeah.
I think they'll all come off winners, every one of these guys.
And the fans are the ultimate winners. We interviewed Peter Davenport a few weeks back. It was a really mature interview. He talked about how much he'd learnt since his first fight and the hype around his first fight. Great to see him back on the card at AFC 6. After what was a little bit of a shaky start, what are you expecting from the Bulldog on 24th of August?
He's a funny character.
Yeah, very funny.
Good guy. I think he was a bundle of nerves. He had, I think, 300 people come from Geelong to watch him. It was a big thing to step in the ring, and it was probably hard to do what he did. But you got to give him all the, the credit. He's come back. He wants to do it again, and we've given him a go.
Yep.
I think Davenport this time is he's taken the fight a lot more seriously in regards to, I think, his preparation for training, his weight cut, just everything in general. He's got a new trainer too. He's been working close with, and I think look, it's going to be a good fight. His opponent, his jiu-jitsu's quite good. He's a purple belt. He's from Northern MMA, and those boys out there are quite tough. But look, it's another one. I don't know who's going to win it, but whoever wins. But I'm sure it's going to be a good fight.
No doubt at all. It's going to be a very hard question to answer, but for all our fans out there, give us your pick for fight of the night at AFC 6.
Fight of the night, AFC 6. I think Mikey Vitua and Craig Martin. And it's like no one really knows these boys, but I've known Mikey for a while. I think he's actually won fight of the night on our Geelong show. He's a tough boy. He had a few issues going back, but he's repaired them. He's fighting now out of Gracie's in Sydney with his coach Tiago. He's dropped him down to 77 kilos, so he's usually fought at 84. Being 77 now, he's quicker, but his hands are, he's got shovels in his hands, and if he hits you, you'll go down. But then Craig Martin, on the other hand, he had 4 deployments with the army over in Iraq and in fact Afghanistan, and another tough kid, and same thing, stand-up fighter, and he's got shovels on his hands, and these two guys, they won't go to the ground. They're just it's going to be punched, and I'm really excited to watch that fight. Yeah,
sleeping pills in both their hands, so someone's going to sleep in that fight, no doubt. Alright, so AFC 6, 24th of August. November we'll have the title fights from the welterweight middleweight tournament. Moving into 2014 and beyond, what can the loyal fans of the AFC expect to see?
More shows we hope to be putting on, but again, it comes down to our fans and the support that we do get from our fans, because we put a lot of work into this, and as I said, there's so many up and coming new explosive fighters that are just taking it to the next level that we're going to see go internationally and make some big names of themselves. They can come out of Australia, but it comes back to all the fans that we have to come down and support our shows to help us keep these things consistently going. I think look, we are growing, but I think word of mouth and the more support we have, and just generally from anyone that does love the sport, it's a big help and helps us move forward.
And finally, Adam, big shows to put together for AFC. There's 1,000,001 people to thank, no doubt, but at a high level, any shout outs for any of your key sponsors and personnel?
All our sponsors in general have been great, and we've had some sponsors from day one that have believed in us and stuck with us from the start, and we've picked up a lot of new ones on the way, which have been really supportive. I'd like to thank them all because they have been there from the start, and they're still with us now. But GNC, they've been great. Pump Fuel, NDS, FedEx been a sponsor. Coming as a sponsor, we've got Fuji, one of our new sponsors that are sponsoring the gloves. So they're going to you'll sell the new Fuji gloves on the guys in the ring. Zebra Mats, who has been doing the awesome ring canvases. They give it a good look. Also Asylum Fightwear, which you boys are involved in as well. It's been fantastic.
Love Asylum Fight.
Yep, they've been good. We've also Derrimut Gym out in Derrimut. They've been good. Nick, he's been quite supportive with the last weigh-ins there. Also Bet Easy. We've got Bet Easy now, whereas you can actually bet on have a bet on the fights too, so you can win some money. But as I said, I'd flip the coin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, we've also got Bridie O'Reilly's. which are out in Brunswick. They actually put the quite a fair bit of the UFC on, but they've come on as a new sponsor. We're doing our weigh-ins out there, and the after party also. And we thank Roddy O'Reilly's for giving us the opportunity to do that. Also, there's the Sleep Doctor. Sleep Doctor's been great. He's actually sponsored. Sorry to keep going, but
please go.
Sleep Doctor's been really good. He has donated 2 quality beds to the winners of the tournaments, the middleweight and the lightweight tournament. And these beds they're built for made for athletes. We've got solar panels. Solar panel. They've come on the last show, but they've been really good, and they've been a big key player. And I think moving forward, I think hopefully we can keep those guys on. Keep those guys. Solar panel options. They've been great. They've come on as a major sponsor. It's been great to have them on board, and they've basically solar panels is what they do. Great for the environment. And basically, they've got their parent company, which is Haymarket Electrical. So if you need any electrical requirements, these guys are great, and efficient and well priced. Just mentioned the AFC. Also, we've got Universal Finance. They've been working a lot with us too, but also with our gyms and all the people associated with the AFC and helping our fans and the athletes. They've been fantastic. And we have Kono Pizza, who are there on the night. They've got a new pizza pocket. Looks like an ice cream cone with the pizza, but everyone absolutely loved them last time. So have one of them when you're there. This time at the event, they were good. And we also have Epicenter TV, who do our live stream. Who've been great. They've been with us for quite some time, and you can actually watch the live stream anywhere around the world on your mobile phone, on the TV, computer, and it sort of gives us a good opportunity to get our brand out there to everyone and showcase our fights around the world. Commercial Drive, he's been there from day one. He's sticking his car up with AFC all over it, his van, sorry. He does the airport parking down at the airport in Tunnel Marine, so if anyone wants airport parking, go see Damien. He'll look after you. Just mention the AFC, but he's been fantastic. Gets the guys to the fights on time, gets them to the weigh-ins on time, to their hotels, and he's done a wonderful job, and great to have him with us. Big thanks, mate, to the Fighters Hub for having us on, having myself on today, and having all the fighters on throughout the last few weeks. It's been great. These guys have been excited about talking to yourselves and being able to reach out to their fans. Also, the fact that the fans been able to ask them questions.
Yeah, it's been great.
Really good job. Yeah, I think what you guys are doing is great, and we'll support you guys. And I think moving forward, it's something that I think you'll grow with all these guys, and they start to get to know you. And
Adam, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So there you have it, fight fans. Heard first from the CEO of the AFC himself. To get warmed up, 23 August, Brodie O'Reilly's, corner Brunswick Street and Sydney Road, AFC 6 weigh-ins. Commentators will be there, ring girls will be there, fighters will be there, great food, great beer, best food in Brunswick by far. And then the big show, August 24, Melbourne Pavilion, AFC 6. Middleweight, welterweight, semi-finals. Rob Lucida, Rodolfo Marquez, Daniel Hooker, Banjo Patterson, the sickest card we've seen at AFC by far. Get your tickets, get there now.